Stay scared. This is Creep Cafe.
That was hello. Hi. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Spooky Halloween.
Wow. So much has happened.
In just a week.
Oh my god.
This week has been so long. It feels like it's never going to end.
This
and
week,
I would like it to.
This week has felt like probably 7 weeks, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I'm like about ready to give birth with this week, you know? Like that's how long it's been.
I'm full term.
Yeah.
What news should we start out with first? What do you think is most important?
Most important, I have 2 cats now.
Mm-hmm.
We are adding an additional podcat, and because it's been a week and nobody has claimed her, I guess she's mine now.
I can't believe it's already been a week.
She found me outside minding my own business, and I couldn't just leave her out there because she's smaller than my other cat is, who's like only a little over 1. And it's not very vegan of me to leave a small cat outside by itself. And I thought she was somebody's cat because she was really clean and didn't have fleas or anything like that. And she's super friendly. And if you know anything about outside feral cats, they don't act like that. There's 2 that hang around like outside of my house. I was at someone else's house when she wandered up. But there's 2 that hang around outside my house, and they belong to the neighborhood, and they're not like rude, but they're definitely not friendly. But my other cat, very popular of the fans, Bandit, she is not a fan of Jinx yet.
She's just mad that you brought a new sibling in.
Yeah. They're getting better. They're way better than they used to be. And everybody who has like multiple cats is telling me that this is like normal for them to like fight for the first however long. But yeah. That's my cat intermission. 2 kids is a lot harder than 1.
If you have any tips, tricks,
please. They already have separate litter boxes, and I have 2 bowls of food like around the house, so then they don't fight over them. But that doesn't really work. So I don't know what else to do. It's not like bad enough to where they're like actually hurting each other, but sometimes it sounds like they're gonna kill each other.
Yeah.
But nobody's bled. Nobody's even bled yet. So I think maybe it's just a period of establishing dominance.
Bandit's gonna win that one.
Yeah, she's
without
bigger.
a doubt.
She's bigger.
She's also Bandit.
Yeah, she's also really toxic. So, you know, not to call my cat out or whatever, but super toxic. What else happened?
Well, I'm super good at manifesting.
I like that that's how we're going to introduce that part of it. I said, I'll let Olivia deal with this one.
Tinder messages are back. Turns out, he's, well, how do I put this nicely?
A man? That's the nice way to say it.
Criminal?
She whispers because she's scared. Might have to put you in witness protection.
What if he listens?
He doesn't listen. He said he listened to the other ones. Hey, shout out.
Anyways, so this week I kissed him, you guys. I kissed him on the first day.
What a whore.
I'm the biggest slut around.
And God punished her.
God punished me. First of all, I got fucking strep. Mm-hmm. Strep throat. Mm-hmm. What? That's such a child sickness to get. That is
a toddler's disease.
That is what 6-year-olds get because they lick the monkey bars.
Exactly. Well, metaphorically, you licked a monkey bar, and this is what you get.
Okay, so I texted him, and I was like, hey, so here's the thing. I got strep, and he got mad at me.
Yeah, instead of being like, hey, are you like good? He was like, oh, I'm going to miss work because of this. I better not have strep.
Oh, and I get being mad about work, but he was also like, and this weekend is Halloween. Yeah. Like, fuck you. Yeah. Fuck you, for starters.
For starters. We also have a party, so.
Yeah, fuck you. I'm sick too. I'm also missing work.
Yeah.
Cunt.
Not the C word.
And then I was like talking to him, and he ignored me all after that. And I was like apologizing to him because, hi, I have trauma. So when someone like says stuff like that to me, I'm like, oh my God, I need to apologize. I need to make things right.
Also, let me just tell you guys this. He literally told Olivia, he was like, you better be glad I didn't cut you off sooner.
He said,
Who says
he said, actually, let me just.
Not the text, not the receipts.
Let me just pull up the receipts. I know if he listens, he listens.
He know what he did.
He knows what he did. Did I delete
Even
them?
though he thinks he doesn't.
He
Sent me some screenshots.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole conversation was him, like, telling Olivia that she made the choice for them to break up or something stupid. Even though he's, like, definitely in the wrong on multiple counts. Like,
and, like, the thing is, like, he was, like, sending me messages that was, like, I like you so much. You, like, mean so much to me. Like, I like you so much. So I hadn't been really saying this stuff back to him because I was like, I'm testing the waters.
Right.
Then I finally say it back to him, and he's like, you pressed me into a wall. You made me say, sir, excuse me, you held me in your bed and were like,
not in your bed.
I'm falling for you. And then I say it 2 days later, and you're like, you're pressing me in a wall. Go suck your own dick, bro. Like, come on. Come on.
Men be like.
Anyways, so I sent him a message. He said, this is going to be the Tinder message because I just got back on Tinder and Bumble. Don't worry, the weirdos haven't messaged me yet. It's still coming. He said, I don't want this to sound rude, but you should be thankful I didn't cut you out of my life immediately like I do with everyone else. Ellipses.
Not ellipses.
90% of my life has been alone, physically, socially, and emotionally. Hella walls built up from trauma and plain inexperience. Like, calm down, Jughead Jones. Come on.
Oh my God.
You remember the scene where he's like,
yes,
I'm weird.
I'm weird. I'm a weirdo.
I don't know if you have noticed. Look at my beanie. I'm fucking weird.
I wear a hat. Yeah.
Also, Marisa. Can we say this? Oh, it's public record. Can we? Should we?
Public record. He has a criminal history, and I found it on the internet. Like from like the public records, like Office, like you can do that. Fun fact, if you don't know that, homeboy has a thick past.
Thick past. We didn't pay the $6 to open it, so.
Well, when it said how many documents were in there, look, I don't know how a police record works, and I don't know if they're counting each individual page like as its own thing, or if each page like adds up to be a part of one document.
Regardless, it's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a shocking amount. Also, now know the name of his parents,
send
like
us,
where he lives and stuff.
Send us
your
how much
records.
How much you think it is.
Yes.
And if you get it right, we'll give you something.
Yeah, we'll give you something. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. If you get it right, we'll give you something.
That's our Halloween giveaway.
Oh, and I was like, he like really gaslit me.
Yeah, 100%. Not to expose you, but you were sitting on my couch like really upset, and I was like, girl, are you listening to what this man is saying to you right now?
Yeah, you know what? It was because I had stupid brain, because on the first date, he gave me a rose quartz crystal, a big one at it.
That's all it takes.
And my brain said, love, 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 love.
Yes.
And it was the crystal's fault, so I buried that shit in my yard with some salt.
As you do.
Someone's gonna find it, and then they're gonna be like, why am I attracted to Lord Farquaad?
Not Lord Farquaad.
It's funny because
he
was short.
That's all it takes to get a woman.
Also,
bring her shiny rock.
I'm so fucking mad because I left my nice pillow at his house.
I told you I'd buy you another one for Christmas.
Thank you. I said, rest in peace.
Yeah, because Olivia was like, do I have to go back and get it? I said, I will literally buy you a new one, like right now.
And like the thing that like doesn't make sense is like he took me on a date before like all this happened. Mm-hmm. Like the day before we like went to the mountains.
The same one where he like, well, no, your very first date he gave you like the rock.
Yes.
First of all, you're telling somebody else that they're like being too much. You gave somebody
me a love rock. On the first date. A love. That's literally what it is for love.
Yep.
Not fond of you.
Wedding bells. That's what it is.
Furthermore, sorry guys. This is going to be a longer episode because it's Halloween.
Yeah, we're giving you extra spice. We're planning on that anyway.
Like, who does he think? Oh, And he was 2 hours late. I waited 2 hours
and
for
you
a
FaceTime
man.
me while you were sitting in that parking lot.
And I was like,
freaking out.
I was like, I don't know if because like we never set a date. We said after class when I
Right.
got out of class because he's not in school because all what he does is smoke weed. And
Exposed.
what is he gonna do? I mean, just kidding. I dare him to do something. Just kidding.
This podcast knows.
this
This is our alibi right here.
You're right.
This right here.
Right
when you
here.
go missing, this is what I showed to the cops.
like, hey, I need you to.
I need you to know about this man. And they go, oh, we already have all of his records.
Like,
Don't worry.
Him again.
Again?
Another. I don't know if I should share one of his charges.
I don't know. What's the legality of that? Can you get in trouble for telling somebody else's?
I mean, if it's public record.
He also told you. Did he say it was a secret first?
No, he said he's not a bad guy, and then he told me.
Oh. Well, that sets the stage.
That I should not have put that. When he gave me the necklace, the rose quartz or whatever, he's like, close your eyes. Mind you, we're standing like next to a river, and I'm like, I'm about to get thrown in, so I half closed my eyes so I could see what was going on.
You're like, just in case.
Always be aware of your surroundings. Yeah.
And always let your friends know your location, because I was watching Olivia's all night.
Yeah.
I was like, where is this girl at?
She's
She's at the Barnes and Nobles downtown. Okay.
And like he would get like really angry for no reason. Mm-hmm. Like super mad.
Which is not a good sign.
Like one time when we went on the date. Sorry, I'm talking. But we went on the date and we were coming home and like the mountains was like a bit of a drive. Mm-hmm. I don't want to dox us any more than I already have. But he needed a charger for his phone. Well, he went into the gas station and he bought the wrong charger. Mm-hmm. And he got so mad. Mm-hmm. He like threw it on the ground and I was like, there'll be another place. He's like, I was like,
yeah.
And then like my getting yelled at trauma triggered and I shut it off. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, hey, there's a Dollar General right there. Like go in. Well, he's like, well, I already passed it. I was like, well, you can turn around right here. Yeah. And then I got out of the car and bought a charger like a big girl. Mm-hmm. I put on my big girl pants. And
somebody has to.
I said, it's just a charger. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then he didn't talk the whole entire ride.
Oh.
And I was like,
mind you, this side of the table didn't get any of that information until she got back. So if I would have had that while you were there, I would have been like, send me your coordinates because I'm about to drive up there. I'm like, saving you.
I was like, why? I didn't know why he got so angry. Like, bro.
You should always be aware of men that get angry over stupid things because
it was like, I was like,
it
dude,
turns
I
into
get
worse.
I was like, I get upset about.
Yeah, I see being annoyed.
And then like him
because that's irritating.
Getting upset with me for getting sick. He literally said...
Yeah. He never asked if she was okay.
Not once.
Because that turned into a giant fight, which led to all of this fun gossip that you guys are getting now. We love gossip kind.
We just become a gossip channel? That's already what we are.
Yeah, honestly.
Sorry. I don't know how to work an iPhone. I'm a 90-year-old woman.
She is. Confirmed.
So I said, hey, I hate to text you again because I already texted him a couple times that morning. And I was like... But I just want to let you know that I got back from the doctor and I have strep. I'm sorry if I get you sick. I just needed to let you know because obviously. He replied, fuck, as one message. I really hope I didn't catch it because I can't afford to miss work anymore. And it's Halloween weekend. And then he ignored me for the rest of the day.
Yeah, that was really cash money of you, sir.
I hope he gets strep.
He might already have it.
I hope.
You might have gotten it from him. Also,
I got a nasty ass cold sore on my lip from him.
I wasn't gonna say that, but yeah. Yeah. And that's what happens when you're a whore.
Yeah, that's what I get.
Yep.
God punishes me. He said, that bitch really thought this was gonna work out. But I mean, it was for the best. It was for the best. It was
100%.
Obviously.
Yeah. Maybe don't date people with a very thick criminal history.
Yeah. And then I said, because
unless there are instances where some people do genuinely aren't bad anymore, but no signs of improvement.
And when because I scandalous stayed at his house, and he smoked the devil's lettuce right away when we woke up.
Not the devil's lettuce.
And then when we went on our date, he had a dab pen and he smoked that whole entire time. And then we got home.
Did he drive and do that, ma'am?
I know. I was scared. I was terrified. And then when we got home, he told me he was going to smoke again. And so I like sat on his bed and I like reached out my arms to like give him a hug. Like that's all I was doing. And he looked at me, he's like, I told you what I was doing when I got home. And I was like,
Okay.
I said, I just wanted a hug. He's like, but I told you what I was doing when I got home. I was like, forget it. Just forget it, bro.
Mm-hmm. Also, the house, paraphernalia everywhere.
Everywhere. And so, like, when
it's probably not just the devil's lettuce.
He was, like, telling me when it first all happened, he's like, I just need time to think. And then, so he was thinking, well, I was also thinking this entire time. And so I decided.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you know, like, I don't mean this, like, rude or anything, which is, I mean, like, that's, hey, guys. I don't know why I say that. I'll work on it. Don't worry. And I was like, I was like, but you kind of like do drugs and stuff. And I was like, that's not really good for my career since I want to be a forensic psychologist. Like, if I get caught with you and you have drugs on you, like, that's the end of my career. Yeah. Ooh, and that made him really bad. He was like, my cannabis use isn't nothing to you. And I was like, hey, bro, hey.
Also, he lied on his profile and to Alivia before they met up about this. I feel like if you were told up front, it wouldn't be like, well, I mean, some people would still think it's like a huge deal, but it wouldn't be as big of a deal. Also, me and Olivia have the drug trauma, so just to let everybody know, that's where we're coming from. When you have a bunch of drug addicts in your family, you see it kind of differently.
Yeah, and I was like...
And I know that there are like random people here and there that can do it sometimes, and they're like, fine.
I've met a weed smoker who just occasionally
picks it up
smokes.
At like a party.
Yeah.
If that's you, call in.
Explain it to us.
I also don't know any that it didn't lead to worse things and then like progress through their lives and make it worse, and it just became a a huge problem. Mm-hmm. So that's where our perspective is. Sorry if we offend anyone with our anti-drug like also, dare program intermission.
We're also two educated women who understand
how drugs work.
Yeah, and then he would go on like rants about like what is it called? When they like started cracking down on drugs really hard.
The war on drugs?
Yes, that.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's racist. And I was like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're missing the big picture here. Hey, you are taking this and making it something it's not. You're making an excuse to use drugs.
Well, also, I think that they've proven that was like created just to get black people in prison.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But that's not what he was using it for. Like, he would say that, but he would like use it as an excuse to use drugs.
The same person who...
As if like drugs aren't bad, but they made it bad to arrest black people. Drugs are still bad, but they did definitely target black people. But drugs are bad, regardless. But he made it like they did it because drugs aren't.
And he tried to make it like about himself and not about...
almost like he's a sociopath.
Almost like he voted for Trump in the first election. So... You know?
So the lesser of two evils was Trump. Fuck no. Shut the fuck up.
Goodbye.
That's why we hate him. Anyway. Should we share the other thing that happened after we were done recording last week?
Oh. Yeah. Because I forgot that happened like immediately after. So we were minding our business in my kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah, we were in the kitchen.
Cooking dinner.
Oh yeah, we were.
We were chefs.
We were making dinner. And Olivia like heard something, which is not like weird in this house.
I heard little footsteps.
Which I have cats.
Yeah.
So
I went to go see if it was Bandit or
popped around. She popped around the corner.
Jinx.
Yeah, but she popped around the corner, and then she saw a shadow person.
Mm-hmm. And I said, "Ooh, I did not like that." Immediately told Marisa, "I'm not keeping secrets from her. She's my best friend."
Cool, awesome. And then she like saw it kind of walk down the hall towards my room. And we went in there. We were going to go check the mail. We were looking for something in particular and seeing if it was here or not. And I was like, Olivia, you have to come with me because it was dark outside.
Yes.
That's how you die.
It was dark and spooky.
Yeah. And we went in there. Olivia's trying to find her Crocs because she's a Croc lady. And
they sent them to me for free.
And she could only find one of them. And this is like the second instance like recently where somebody's losing things in my house and can't find it. And so if you're... I don't know, any old wives' tales, and and if Olivia dies, maybe you know about our good friend the butter knife, where you take it and you spin it on the floor and you like talk to it before, and you're like, "Hey, show me where this thing is," and then it points to it. Okay, that's how that works. I'm not saying it's like magic, but it do be working.
It do.
What do you call that? I don't know. And we had already like torn my room apart and like gone through Olivia's bag.
I was like, where the hell is this crock?
And it's bright blue. It's not like a nice neutral tone. It's bright blue.
It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. But they're so comfy. I can't.
Yeah. And we spin the friggin' butter knife on the floor, and it points back to her bag, and we're like, we've literally emptied this thing twice already, but whatever. Literally. And then we go through it again, and there's the crock.
There's the crock.
Cool. Whatever.
So then we go to sleep.
We sleep all through the night. We're cool.
And we wake up in the morning, and we post our podcast. Mm-hmm. And Marisa's standing in her bedroom posting her podcast. Mm-hmm. And then what happened?
And then I have like floating shelves on the wall in my bedroom. And I got little cute stuff up on them because I'm a lady and we be decorating. And something just straight up flew off on it onto the floor.
Onto the ground.
And Alivia is my witness. We stared at each other for a solid like 5 seconds. And we're like, cool, that was fine.
I was like, go look, sleep in here. I ain't sleeping here tonight.
Yeah, and Olivia was like, I'm going home. Bye.
Have fun.
And I was like, cool. Whatever. Yeah, that was really cool.
And then today
I was just laying in the bed minding my business again, as I do, and I heard straight up just whistling. So.
And then Marisa said, this goes back to the boy. What should we call him? We will call him Jeffrey.
Okay.
Because, Jeffrey Star, Jeffrey
Dahmer.
Star? Jeffrey Dahmer, all awful.
All awful people.
All equally awful.
I mean,
I make a joke.
I don't ever in my entire existence want to defend Jeffree Star, but I will say he didn't eat people that we know of. I think that most of his stuff is just about like creating drama and being racist, which is also bad. I don't know how to equate the two and which is worse. Because racism, really bad. Jeffrey Dahmer also did a good splash of racism though. So, maybe don't name your kid Jeffrey. That's the moral of that story.
So I had to pee, right? At his house. I had to go pee.
Oh.
I opened his toilet. It looked like a science experiment. It was so brown.
You should have ran out of that house.
I about threw up. I didn't use the toilet. I said, I'll just hold it.
Olivia said, suddenly I know how to pee in a bottle.
I said,
suddenly I will be using the sink.
Suddenly my bladder is like a condom. And
oh my God. Not a condom.
Up. And like, I showered because I had a shower.
Unfortunately.
And I looked. Should I tell? I'm going to tell this. I looked in the corner and it was either beard hair or pubic hair.
Cool.
Dark black.
Hey, men, can we learn how to clean? Please.
It's not hard.
And it doesn't take long.
No, especially if you keep up with yourself.
Yeah. Maybe we just learn how to clean. Whatever.
Maybe.
Not to tell you how to live your life.
But women can't take care of you your whole entire life.
Yeah, I looked at Alivia the other night and I was like, do you really want to take care of a man baby for the rest of your life? Do you want to do that?
No.
Okay, next.
I need to find and also another thing, he said he was in college on his bio. Mm-hmm. And
oh yeah, she showed me it.
Hey guys, not to sound like a picky bitch over here, but I like my man to have drive. I like him to be wanting to do something with his life. College is a must almost for me. Unless you have a job that pays well and you're
yeah.
Not that money matters, but you have something going for you. You're not going to be 23 years old working, at the same thing and then coming home and smoking marijuana.
Maybe we just get some hobbies.
Right? Do something. Come on.
Learn how to knit.
I feel like it makes me sound just so bitchy, but I don't know. A major turnoff is not having a college degree, but in his bio, he said he was in college.
And he's not. That was also a lie.
And he's not. He dropped out. He had 2 degrees left.
He said that he had 2 classes left.
2 classes,
which I don't know how many of you guys have been to college who's experienced.
2 classes is nothing. Why did you give up now?
That's 1 semester.
Barely a semester.
Barely. Yeah. Olivia goes, let me dox myself for real this time. Good job.
We're gonna have to figure out how to blurp that one out.
I don't know how.
Oh my god.
I'm just going to have to cut out that part of the audio. Anyway.
We'll figure it out. Shit, I didn't mean to do that. I thought I was just talking to Marissa. Mm-hmm. Anyways, the school I go to is quarterly instead of semesterly, so they're even shorter. So I'm like, and it's not hard classes either.
Now Olivia's going to cry.
So, but like, okay, so conspiracy theory. Mm-hmm. He got kicked out because of his charges.
I mean,
and that's why he can't finish. Why wouldn't you go finish for 2 classes and get a psychology degree? Oh, he also said that since he has a psychology degree, he used to manipulate people when he worked as a server to get better tips.
Yeah. Lots of red flags went up. And if this side of the table would have known about it, we wouldn't have had all this drama.
I said, I'm going to start wearing a camera on my chest, and I just want you to...
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I am.
We can get you some of those spy glasses with the cameras in it. Yeah.
And you can be like, get out, get out, get out.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. They'll be like, why do you have an AirPod in all the time? Because I'm cool. That's what you do.
But should we start our stories? We've been talking for
30 minutes.
Yeah.
We did really good.
We did.
We're making this episode super long and spicy.
We are. It's fun. All right. Am I going first?
You can. Since it's Halloween and because we love you guys, we're both going to do kind of spooky topics.
Yeah.
Mine's got a little splash of murder in it. just happenstance. And yeah, we're just both going to talk about spooky things and you guys can sit back and have fun. And next week we'll go back to normal and what? I'll start? Yeah, because next week I'll have murder again. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
So I'm going to make Marissa pee her pants.
Yeah, I'm not excited about this, especially because I've already told you guys that weird things are happening in this house. So now Olivia's going to make it worse.
Yes.
And she's going to make me sleep here by myself tonight.
I'm doing the Black-Eyed Kids.
Yeah.
They're super spooky.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
Throw it away.
It's super short. There's like not, I mean, it's a urban legend kind of thing. So, urban legends aren't really.
They haven't been around as long, I feel.
Mm-mm.
Some of them have like Bigfoot and stuff. I feel like that's been around forever. I don't really know if you call that an urban legend.
The first sighting was in 1996. Like that's when it came about.
Okay.
So literally.
Yeah. Older than us. So just a little bit.
Yeah. So not very long. So it's really short. So I have stories to go along with it.
Cool.
Also, I don't know if it is. I have a little bit of history of Halloween up here that I could talk about.
The most, I don't know, important thing that I think that I know about Halloween history is that it used to be like a pagan holiday and then the Christians got mad and were like, no, you can't have your celebration no more because it's for the devil.
Yeah.
Irish, that's not true.
The Irish people celebrated it. It was the 31st marked the end of harvest for them. That was also like their New Year's kind of thing. This is when they believed that the dead spirits would come on and they would walk among us. And this was like the closest that they could get to death without being dead. So to like get them to go away, they would light big bonfires. Okay. And that's how they scared the spirits away. But Christians ruin everything, so they got involved.
My story is also about Christians ruining things. We're sorry, Christians. I'm sure that 2 of you are fine.
At least. At max.
Just so sorry, sweetie. This is not the episode for you.
And so Christians took it over and they made All Saints Day after to like commemorate. Wow. Good words. Remember like saints and like those who believed past.
Which, can we talk about people that don't let their kids trick or treat because it's the devil's holiday?
Right, it's not.
First of all, Halloween is so commercialized. It's Walmart's holiday. Like, it's not one part of this. And I'm so sorry to all of the kids that don't get to trick or treat and just go get free candy and like, I don't know, put on a princess costume for the night or something. Like, it's not that deep. No. I'm sorry, but it's not. It's really not.
So the Christians took over, and then they made it something that it wasn't. They made it All Saints Day, which Halloween transfers to over. Excuse me.
Oh, smoker's cough.
Sorry. It's gonna kiss the boy. And so, anyway, how it got to America was when the Irish had the potato famine. They came over to America and they brought this tradition. They would bring like dunking for apples and like the tricks. They mainly did tricks. So some tricks that they would do is like they would steal your fence, which I thought was really cool.
Your fence?
Yeah, like the door to your fence. They would just steal it. And then
I'm stressed.
it like progressively got worse. Mm-hmm. So that's where they decided to start giving out treats. So businesses would put candy outside on their door, and then like kids would come and they wouldn't like vandalize their business, and then they would then started encouraging kids to go door to door and trick-or-treating. And that's your history on Halloween.
Cool. And then at some point people were poisoning kids, and then they had to like stop for a second, and then they started again.
They're like, let's take a break.
Yeah. Because somebody has to ruin everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just one. Ruin it for everyone.
Person.
Cool. That translates to a lot of things now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
So black-eyed kids. Oh, I'm correcting myself already. They have existed since around the 1980s, so still not that old. The legend, however, seems to have come about from 1996, where a Texas reporter named Brian Bethel wrote a article on ghost hunting related mailing. He described his encounter with these children in Texas. Then later, this led to people talking more about their encounters with the black-eyed kids. The next one to come around came from Portland, Oregon. He also went on to tell his story with the black-eyed kids on the television show Monsters and Mysteries in America. Heard of her?
Nope.
Me either.
I've heard of Destination Mystery.
Mm-hmm. So what happens when you see one of them? They typically approach you at night or at dusk.
No.
So
throw them away.
They may knock on your door or approach your car. You're typically, you're not gonna be walking down the street and they're gonna walk up to you. You're gonna be inside your property.
Oh, of course. Okay.
They don't look threatening typically. They appear like they need help or something is wrong. They're usually in pairs of two. So
the buddy system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They appear to be the ages 6 to 16. I don't know which one would scare me more.
A tiny one.
I think so too.
But also regular teenagers scare me, so I don't know what the...
And usually it's a younger one and an older one from my understanding.
Oh, somebody chaperoning?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, they seem normal at first. They try to convince you to come in, kind of like vampires. They try.
They have to be invited in?
Yes.
Okay.
They're like, let me in. I need to use your phone. My mom and dad, they're coming. And they typically keep their head down because they don't want to, to see their eyes because they're completely black.
That would give it away.
When people get close to them, they feel a gross amount of dread. They're like, I hate it here. I hate this. This sucks.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I'm burning my house down. Goodbye.
And then they see their eyes and they're like, psh, and they slam the door in their face.
As you should.
And they're like, no, throw them away.
Out of my good Christian home.
I hate them. So I found a ton. Like I said, I have 2 stories to read. Like I said, it's short, sweet, but that's okay. I thought I was going to find more information, but I had already researched. It's okay. It's fine. Okay. So our spooky Halloween episode, this is what I wanted to do. When people see them, they seem to be normal, but their attire is super outdated. And then sometimes in super rare cases, they have talons for feet.
I have never heard that part of the story.
I found it on several websites. I said, excuse me, talons?
Why hasn't anyone told me that before?
Just imagine them walking up to the door, click, 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 click.
Eagle feet is what I'm imagining.
Mm-hmm. That's what I pictured too.
Cool.
People really don't know what they are. Demonologists think that they are sent from the devil. However, conspiracy theorists like to believe that they're aliens trying to contact Earth. I think they're sent from the devil.
Really? I was about to say, I feel like they're aliens.
We can ask one. I have one right here.
No. No. No.
Okay. So it was versus like shaking up spooked her.
I hate it.
So
I really hate these things so much.
they're like the only like urban legend like kind of thing that like actually scares me.
Yeah.
Like because kids are scary.
Oh, yeah. No, kids, throw them away.
Terrifying.
Goodbye.
Like 2 kids showing at my door without black eyes, petrified.
Why are you here?
Where are your parents? I have so
You
many
can sit
questions.
in my yard.
I'll
Hang out.
I'm gonna call the police or the fire department.
You guys chill out here.
Yeah, stay.
I'm not helping you. You're
Sit
not coming
down.
in.
So when I was like used to be like really into like them, like not into them, but like I thought it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I found this YouTube channel, and he was having like black-eyed kids show up in his yard. I can't remember the name. I wish I could. I tried to go back and find it. And he was like seeing them on his deer camera, and they would get really close, and they would like push it down, and like they would get super close to deer. It all turned out to be fake. It was a like experiment. He later came out and was like, "Hey guys, this was just like a social experiment. I wanted to see how fast I could make my channel grow." And I was like, fuck you, sir, because I wasted so much time on this.
That is honestly so rude.
I know. But it looked so real. Part of me is like, maybe it was real. And the black-eyed kids were like, you need to say that this isn't real.
They like pressured him into doing it. Mm-hmm. They were like, you, sir, you're not giving us any of your ad revenue.
Excuse me. So, hold on. I have to pull up my other story. So, I did find one story of someone who let them in, and then I have a story of someone who didn't let them in.
Oh, good.
Yes. So, sorry, I don't know how Reddit works.
I don't know how Reddit works. Reddit users, let us know.
Right?
Dial in.
Send us an email.
While Olivia's trying to find that, we're going to sit here. We're going to contemplate the Halloween season and what it means to us.
Right.
It makes me feel like I can just get in the bed at like 7 every day and just vibe.
Right.
And that it's okay to eat 17 pieces of candy at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because I make my own decisions, you know? Pumpkins are cool. They probably have a really long history. I'm sure that, God, what is that podcast with Allie Ward? I'm sure that she has a whole episode about pumpkins.
Oh, I'm sure.
What other Halloween things? Bats. Bats are cool. Freaking bats.
What was your favorite thing you ever dressed up as for Halloween?
Ever?
Mm-hmm.
I've had so many good things. I don't know. Probably going with like zombie cheerleader or something because I wanted to be it so bad.
I was a zombie pageant queen. I liked that a lot.
Love that.
Marisa and I are literally the same person.
We've also found out that we've been the Little Mermaid when we were like children.
Yeah.
Oh, I dressed up as a feather duster one year.
I love that. General Marbles who?
I wore like a black bodysuit and I like got one of those like big fluffy skirts from Walmart out of their like Halloween section, so it's like super itchy. And then I just hot glued feather boas to the bottom of it, and I was a feather duster.
How old were you?
This was like in high school.
Oh,
yeah, creative.
What?
It was very creative.
So which one do you want to hear first? The one where they didn't let them in, or the one where they let them in?
Just rip off the Band-Aid of when they did let them in. I just want that over with.
This one I can't like credit to anybody. It was kind of in the article I was reading, so I just want to apologize in advance. I don't know where the fuck this story came from.
It has no origin.
Within the middle of nowhere of Vermont, an elderly couple heard 3 loud knocks at their door. They opened the door and saw 2 children, a boy and a girl. Parents will be here soon. May we come in? The children did not make eye contact, just stood in the doorway. The elderly couple were hesitant, but after a while, they let the boy and girl inside. The kids settled on the couch while the wife made some hot cocoa, and the husband asked them questions that went unanswered. The wife returned and noticed that her cat was scared and angry with the children. May we please use the restroom? The wife looked at the kids, and she finally saw them. The children's eyes were black as the starless universe. She directed them to the bathroom and returned to her husband, who was covering his face with his hand. Did you see their eyes? The husband then shows her his hand full, covered with blood from a nosebleed. The power suddenly went out, and the house turned dark as the kids' eyes. The wife headed to the restroom and was confronted by the voice of the kids at the end of the hall uttering, "Our parents are here." The kids then exited the house, leaving the door wide open. The wife then noticed that there were 2 men standing at the end of the driveway. Gay rights. They were very tall and
gay rights.
slender. The wife waved, but did not receive a friendly gesture. The 2 men and children then drove away together. The power then came back on a little after the kids left. Throughout the week, weird things happened in this house. 3 out of the 4 cats went missing, and the 4th had been found dead in the pool of its own blood. The husband continued to have nosebleeds and finally went to the doctor, where he was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of skin cancer.
And that's why I think that they're aliens.
Yeah, Men in Black. That was probably the 2 people who pulled up.
Are the Men in Black gay? That makes them less scary to me.
Without a doubt. Do you think aliens are gay?
I think that they're so far, past even worrying about who's what gender and things like that.
They don't have gender.
Yeah, they don't have any of that stuff that really makes no sense why we have it. You know? Come on, people.
Throw it away.
Why do you care?
It doesn't matter.
It literally doesn't. Does it change your day at all? No, it doesn't.
So this story is 6 years old, so it's kind of old. So I'm sure you've heard. Some people have heard it before. Like if you're weird like Marisa and I, and we listen to no sleep narrations on YouTube as we fall asleep.
And I love Let's Not Meet.
Oh, me too. They followed us.
I know.
I
oh my God.
shit myself.
I almost died. I literally I saw the notification on my phone because we're both logged in.
We love you.
Hello. I saw the notification on my phone, and because we're both logged into it because we're nice, and it was I don't know 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I just rolled over to see what time it was. I wasn't chilling, and yeah, and I saw it, and I almost woke Olivia up. I was
You should have. I would have freaked out with you.
I was dying. And then I told her when we did wake up, and I go, Olivia, Let's Not Meet followed us and DM'd us last night. And she goes, what?
Yes.
She screamed.
I was because I sent them a DM. I was like,
hey, love your podcast. Something like that.
what was that?
I don't know. I didn't hear anything. Don't start with me.
Sorry.
Stop. No, we're not playing this game.
Okay, nothing happened. I heard nothing.
You heard nothing. We're done. You're canceled. Olivia's not a part of this podcast anymore.
I'll go get one of the cats to take my place.
Do not start with me.
I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, also, this is off subject. In the last podcast, I talked about how I was afraid of bridges, and then I fucking hit my car on a bridge. Yeah. I'm too powerful.
You need to stop.
So, anyways, what were we talking about? Black Eyed Kids.
Yeah, the ones that didn't get let in. What happened to them?
So this comes from Sarah Beth 11 on the No Sleep forum on Reddit. So it had been a slow trick-or-treat night in our neighborhood that evening, which is pretty odd in itself. We usually have kids from different areas dropped off in ours and have constant parades at our door. She must live in a rich neighborhood.
They must be giving out full-size candy bars.
That's what they do here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That night, I'd say we'd have no more than 8 or 10 groups of kids come the entire night. It was about 9:30 p.m., and my husband and I were sitting in our family room watching some of those ghost shows based on supposedly actual events. Like I said, I don't believe in that stuff, but I do like a good ghost story now and then, and it was Halloween and all. Yet I hadn't had any activity at the door in over half an hour. It was getting late, so we decided to turn off the porch light and let our dog Chloe out of her crate. Chloe is an American bulldog and is very docile. Docile? However you want to say it. Mm-hmm. We only put her in the crate because we were afraid she'd try and get out and play with the kids, and I didn't want to have to chase her down the street. Also, we didn't want her to scare the kids because she would look like an intimidating dog to younger kids. So I turned the outside light off and let Chloe out, and she followed me back to the couch and laid down at my feet. It was getting close to 10 p.m. when my husband decided he had enough fun for the night and was going to go upstairs to take a shower and get ready for bed. After all, it was Thursday, and he still had to get up early the next day. My teenage son was out with his friends at a local haunted house and wasn't expected to be back for another hour or so. So that left me alone on the couch with Chloe. Now, just because I don't believe doesn't mean those shows don't freak me out a bit. And being alone now, watching, I'd have to say I was kind of on edge, as it were. It wasn't long after I heard the upstairs water of the shower turn on when the light came on. Knock, knock, knock at my front door. My initial reaction was, what the hell? Really? It's almost 10 o'clock. Go home. But soon an uneasy feeling came over me. Why the knock? Our doorbell glows in the dark, and without the porch light, it would be extra obvious to anybody. I paused. I couldn't really ignore it. Our front door had a big beveled glass panel. Anybody right at the door could see enough to someone was in the family room watching TV. It would be pretty rude for me just to sit there and not answer. Knock, knock, knock. Again from the door. I glanced down at Chloe. She was gone. My gaze followed her usual path to the front door, expecting her to be on their way there, but as she normally was. Nothing. She wasn't there. I stood up to look around the room better and found her crouching by the back door like she was waiting out. However, she never asks to go out like that. She always comes and licks my hand and puts her hand on my head on my knee. This was totally out of character for her, and I have to have my heightened anxiety. Chloe, great, I said. She turned back to look at me like, hell no, lady, I ain't moving. I yelled to my husband, but he was already in the shower. I knew there was no chance of him hearing me. Knock, knock, knock. About that time, a car drove down our street and cast enough light at the door to where I could see the silhouettes of two small children through the glass. I instantly felt relief. It was just some kids, probably a couple of my neighbors on their way back home, and wanted to stop by to show me their costumes or something. I headed to the door and looked back to make sure Chloe wasn't going to follow. What a great watchdog, I thought to myself as I sat there. I turned on the porch light when I got to the door, and sure enough, I could see through the glass, and it was a couple of pretty small kids. A little late for such young ones, I thought, and I began to wonder what kind of parents would let their kids run the streets this late. I only opened the door enough to see where I could block Chloe's escape if she decided to grow some balls, which was only about 2 feet. What struck me immediately as the kids weren't wearing any costumes. They were in normal street clothes, also no customary trick-or-treat either. I began to feel a very uneasy feeling. It was a boy and a girl. The girl to my left was older. I'd say about 11 or 12. I could tell she was blonde, but I couldn't make out any distinct features as our lights were high above the column from the front porch. So most of the light was coming from behind them. I had not opened the door wide enough for any of the light to come inside to hit them directly. The boy was younger, instead of shorter, I'd say, 8 or 9, and looked like to have light brown hair. The girl very politely spoke up, "Ma'am, can we please use your phone and come inside to call our mom?" As she spoke, something in the pit of my stomach was telling me that something was wrong. What kid, even at this day of age, doesn't have a cell phone? I couldn't remember the last time I had anybody ask to use my home phone. Hun, don't you have a phone of your own you can call your mom on?" I asked. This thing was really weird. Both kids turned to one another like they were going to say something, but neither of them spoke. They both turned back to me and the girl said, "Ma'am, my cell phone battery doesn't have a charge left in it. Can we please call inside and call our mother? We're alone out here and my brother is scared." I have to admit, there were two competing feelings going on inside me. The first, that of the mother's heart that wanted to help these two small kids get their mom. The other, a sinking fear in my gut, was keeping the other feelings at bay. If you ever have a gut feeling, listen to it.
Yeah, maybe do that.
It was then I noticed that during the short conversation, I'd already opened the door a few extra inches, which I was completely unaware of doing. I stopped. "Honey, why don't you give me your mother's number and I'll call her myself?" Another pause, and then they again looked at me another. After a short moment, they turned back to me and said, "Ma'am, my little brother has to use your bathroom. Can we please come inside and call our mom?" And with that last statement, the little girl moved closer towards the door like she was going to walk in right by me. As she did, I stepped into the light coming from coming from inside the house, and I got my first good look at her. Solid, jet black eyes. That's all I could see. That motherly instinct was gone and replaced by terror. I don't think I've ever felt like this in my life. I could feel every hair on my arms and back stand up. I closed the door to where my face was able to peek out. The little girl stopped again and pleaded, "Please, ma'am, we're really scared and alone out here. We have to come inside. Please help us." Then, like on cue, both kids began to whimper and cry. That's when the fear took over and I shut the door. "I'll call your mother. Give me her number," I shouted through the door, "but I'm not letting you in my house." I could still see them on the porch, just staring at me through the beveled glass pane. Part of me wanted to run upstairs to my husband, but the bigger part didn't want to lose track of where they were. That would have freaked me out even more to not know where they were. After it seemed like forever, but probably only a few seconds, I decided to call my neighbor that lives across the street. As I made my way the side table of our couch to my phone, I glanced at the back door. Chloe was nowhere to be found. We later found her in the guest bedroom under the bed. When I got to my phone and I started to look for his contact info, it was only then the kids stepped away from the door and began to walk down the street. As they did, I walked to the door to get a better look to see where they went, still not calling my neighbor. If you could get close enough to the glass, you can see out to make people's shapes, but you can't see much detail. Of course, standing that close to the door would make you pretty obvious to anyone look from outside looking in. From the door, I could see the kids were still standing under the street lamp nearest to my house. As I lifted the phone to my ear, calling, only then did the kids start walking down our street. I met my neighbor out under the lamp once he was out there, but the kids were nowhere to be seen. That's the story.
No, throw them kids away.
Throw them away.
Throw them kids away.
Thank you for listening to this narration, everybody.
Yeah, that was really good.
I'm
really proud of you.
I was making sure our microphones were still working.
Yeah, they're still working. They're good.
I got worried.
Don't
That was a
worry.
long narration.
I was watching the waveforms like a good audio engineer.
Yes, Marisa is our audio engineer. We would be nowhere without her.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate
I
that.
don't think I have anything spicy to add.
The end of that is throw away your kids.
Yes.
All of them, even if they don't have black eyes. Get rid of them.
We don't need 'em.
Yeah. We
Also, Chloe, you're a terrible guard dog.
don't. No. What
Come
the
on.
hell? Girl, you better work.
Now I can sit back and listen.
And I can get on my vampire talk.
That is always a plus.
Because I've been on some vampire kick I mean, when am I not? But
I mean, like, episode 3, we were like, Twilight.
yeah. And I'm still like Twilight. And now, excuse you. And now I'm even more like, I bought the new Twilight book, first of all, if anybody wants a review of it.
I want
Edward is so pretentious. That whole book is from it's like the first Twilight, but from his point of view. Oh my God. All he does is complains about how great he is and that humans suck and like he should not be falling in love with a human. Like that's what the entire book is. It's awful and amazing all at the same time.
a recent picture of like Robert Pattinson got posted by the paparazzi and he looks like super upset in them and people are like, they told him he wants to make another Twilight.
Oh my God. I hope that they make another one.
I hope they do too. Robert
Keep it
Pattinson,
going.
I will pay you all the money in my checking account,
Okay.
which is like a quarter to him.
Yeah.
But,
Maybe it'll mean something.
right? Robert Pattinson, please do another Twilight.
Also, I've started watching the Vampire Diaries. And
Dramatic.
if nobody has ever watched that and you really need a good like teen drama show, there you go.
What's more dramatic, Twilight or...
The Vampire Diaries. So sorry. Twilight is dramatic in a different kind of way. Also, Twilight, they're like believable teenagers for the most part. The Vampire Diaries, no. All of these people look like they're like 30 and they all act like they're 30-year-olds trying to be like teenagers, if that
Right.
makes sense. Also, I'm so sorry, Nina Dobrev. I'm sure that you're a great person, like in real life. I haven't really heard any drama about you, but in this show, you were so whiny and you really get on my nerves. Mm-hmm. And that's my thought on that. But yeah, vampires. They've been around for forever. I I listened to a bunch of different podcasts about it, but
One's
the two
super
that,
problematic,
one that I listened to for like, I think I got through maybe 15, 20 minutes of it. I didn't know by the name that it was going to be as bad, and I'm not here to name people, unfortunately, but it was like 3 frat boys talking about things, and within like the first 15 minutes they're saying like problematic things, and I was like, you know what, I can't. I'm done listening to this.
Just throw it away.
Yeah, some people shouldn't be allowed to have podcasts.
Are we one of them?
Yeah, some people might say that about us. We don't say anything hateful though, and they definitely did within the first 15 minutes.
We don't say anything hateful to people who don't deserve it.
Right. Yeah. There we go.
Because I don't know if you listened an hour ago. I was spitting some fire.
Yeah. But, yeah. So, vampires all over the world, been from forever. The 2 main podcasts that I listened to were Remember That Time When and Time Suck, which is Dan Cummings' podcast. Mm-hmm. If you know who he is, he's a comedian.
Is he a good comedian?
Yeah. I don't think that he doesn't have any of like problematic comedy to my knowledge. Everything that I've listened from him, because I've listened to his stand-up for a hot minute, and all of it sounds like fine. I think he's okay. I don't think he said anything problematic to my knowledge. But yeah, his podcast is really good. He talks about all kinds of history stuff. And then the other podcast is, I think they're 2 sisters. I might be wrong about that, but I think they're sisters, and they're both like history people, and their podcast was really good about like the whole backstory of vampires and the guy that everyone knows, which I'm going to give you. Yes, Edward. I'm going to give you a content warning now and later when I get to like where we're really going to get graphic. If you guys don't know who Vlad the Impaler is from any history class that you've ever taken ever, he is known for a reason. And when we get to, you might throw up. This is not for like people that can't do gory details, because it gets really bad. So I'm going to give you a warning now. And when I get to it, okay, you might throw up on the table. I don't know. We'll see.
I just draw a smiley face at it.
Yeah.
If I didn't throw up with that side of that toilet,
true.
I think I'm sad.
True. Okay, so most people like trace vampire lore back to Romania specifically, because that's when Vlad the Impaler was like doing his thing. But like vampire mythology and creatures that are like kind of vampires have been seen like in all countries all over the world from all kinds of different people. Like it's not just really from one particular place. So, most people know the book Dracula by Bram Stoker. That's from 1897. This is not like the first book about vampires either. It just got really popular, and it was brought more to like the Western world, quote unquote. And that's why it got super popular. A lot of the things that are in this book, I've seen some like people on TikTok that are like horror, I don't know, literature people. I don't know what the word for that is. That say that this book isn't like that good. And I don't know why, because when I read it, I really enjoyed it. So if anybody was like me and was like, oh, I'm not going to read this because I've heard that it's like bad, I don't think it's bad. I don't know why people hate on it a lot, but I've seen it on TikTok, a lot of hate. It was written in 1897, so you can take that for what it's worth. So there's some things in it that are questionable, as most things are. But the main point of this is that like Dracula, the version of him in this book is, he's like, how do I put this? Like a king almost, kind of. He's like the ruler of the country, and he's like doing all this military stuff. But also on top of that, he is described to be like a master of dark magic. He can do all the mind control stuff. He does all of this alchemy, like makes potions and stuff. And there's a few instances of him like raising the dead. So cool. And for most of this book, he's killing like a lot of women just for fun, you know, as you do. This book takes place like all over Europe, but he is like living his best life in the, I don't know how to say this, Carpathian Mountains. I think that's how you say it, which is in Transylvania.
Can we go to Transylvania?
Yeah.
You know, we'll make all that money from our podcast. Our first podcast tour is going to be in Transylvania.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But one of the first civilizations that is thought to have tales of some kind of monster that is sucking blood from people. It was found on Persian, like pottery. Like, you know how in the old days they didn't have like books and things. They would like carve a lot of their mythology into stone and like pottery and all of that. And they found pottery from like Mesopotamia, which is like Iran, that part of the world, that has depictions of like these creatures. So it's not written down, but it is on pots, so that counts for something.
Means it's real.
Yeah. In India, I'm gonna like completely butcher this.
That's okay.
I think you say Brahmarakshasa. I don't know
Sounds
if that's right.
Good to me.
This person, creature thing, is vampire-like. For some reason, it pointed out very specifically that their head is like encircled with intestines, and yeah, yeah, and they drink blood. That's how they live. In Madagascar, there's a creature called a Ramanga. It's a vampire, also like what you would traditionally think a vampire is. It also pointed out that it ate like toenails and fingernails.
Gross.
I don't know how that was important to the story, but it was. And then in the Philippines, there's something called, I'm also going to butcher this, I'm so sorry. I think it's Manananggal, maybe, which is a female vampire. And if you've ever seen a picture of this, it's like the top half is separated from the legs. Yes. But there's still like intestines like dangling between the two.
Yum. I love intestines.
Some of them like also say that this is a witch, not so much as a vampire, but she drinks blood and has like every other vampire trait, and she usually goes after children. If you guys know the podcast Stories with Sapphire, she has like an entire episode. Yeah, she has an entire episode over this being, and she's Filipino, so she can definitely tell you this way better than I can. So sorry. You might also know the name Nosferatu, which is like it's the name of the first vampire film that was made ever. It was a silent movie.
Have you ever watched a silent movie?
Yes, I had to because I took a film class.
I remember that class.
Yep.
Like I was
had
there.
to. Yeah, you were there.
That's the fun class that colleges are like, we want more of your fucking money. Take one of these classes.
Mm-hmm. It was an elective. And I was like, I'm going to nursing school. Why do I need a film class? But whatever. I haven't seen this, but I have seen a silent film.
I was just wondering.
I've seen like little cuts from it. Like, you know, if you saw the vampire guy from it, you'd know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because he's in that one episode of SpongeBob.
Yes, you're correct. I think that movie was made in like 1930 something. I could be completely wrong.
I believe you.
I didn't write down the date, and there's so many dates in this that's probably incorrect. But Hollywood did not come up with that character. That was like already from Romanian folklore. The name Nosferatu means plague carrier. So, you know, the other, I guess, creature in like Romanian folklore is called a strigoi. I think that's how you say that. Look, a lot of these words very foreign to me. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
This is also, they're not the same thing, and I don't remember what exactly the line is in these, like the difference between the strigoi and Nosferatu. I don't remember, and I couldn't really tell. But the strigoi is more of like what you would think a modern vampire is, not like Edward modern, but like like fangs, drinking
kind of like
blood.
What people like dress up for Halloween.
Yes.
Vampires.
I don't know about the cape and all, but yeah, exactly. Some people think that this particular version of a vampire is more based on Vlad the Impaler, but they're not really sure because Romania, they didn't start like recording history like written down until like the 1600s. Mm-hmm. So like Vlad the Impaler was in power mostly for like the end of the 1400s, so it's kind of hard to tell when exactly that came about and if it was specifically based on Vlad the Impaler. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. But one way or the other, a lot of these stories have a lot of similarities. The creature's always like alive but not alive. A lot of stuff about them coming out at night, about them biting people. Some of the stories were like after they bite someone, then their victim also becomes a vampire. But then some of them were just like, nah, they're dead and that's it. So, depends on where you're coming from. I think there's also one in Brazil that's like the same thing. I don't remember what it's called, and I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't.
That's okay.
Let me see. Oh, and a lot of these, they can shapeshift into animals. Usually the animals are bats or rats.
I didn't know about rats.
Mm-hmm.
Ratatouille's a vampire?
Yes. Remy the Rat, bloodsucker. Now you know. That's how he could control the guy. He was mind controlling him because he was a vampire. Disney.
How did he like handle the garlic at the restaurant?
He is very powerful. Remy the Rat is super powerful. He's more powerful than God, actually. So
Remy the Rat is top tier.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were transformed into rats. Whoa.
Yeah. And I think it's because these animals are usually the ones that bring death, as far as like
like
diseases.
You know when they like showed up and killed everybody.
Yeah, in Ratatouille, yeah. And they threw them in the freezer and then they ate them later, yeah.
They said, your soup tastes good, wanna know why? Human. And Jeffrey Dahmer was like, I know, bro!
Yeah, he shows up.
I've been on this before.
Oh my god. Vampire bats are a real animal.
Yes.
Welcome to the animal kingdom.
Aren't they huge?
Yeah, they're big. Like little bitty bats. They just be chilling.
No,
they're like the size of normal birds. These things are like small pterodactyls.
Like pterodactyls.
Yeah, pterodactyls. Usually they don't go around biting people unless they have rabies.
Can I look up like how big they are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the time they're like biting animals like cows or sheep.
Yeah, but they like leave a nasty ass bite mark,
they
right?
do. Yeah. They're more of like what you would imagine a vampire bite to look like. I'm honestly not sure if like just one could kill a whole cow, but I feel like they could. But yeah, they don't usually bite people unless they have like rabies or something, as most bats usually do. If you leave bats alone, they're not going to bother you unless they already have a disease. But yeah. I wrote, unfortunately, they cannot change into human forms and make their victims vampires as well. So sad for us. Can you see how big they are?
They're not that big.
No, I've seen them though.
Their wingspan. Vampire bats, unlike vampires of legend, are small creatures. Unlike the vampires of legend, are small creatures, just 7 through 9 centimeters long. The common vampire bat is the most common of several vampire species. Its wingspan is between 35 to 40 centimeters, and it weighs about 30 to 40 grams.
Okay, well, get my neck. What did I see a picture of then?
I don't know, but I had the same thing. I'm the one who said that they were big, and then I was like, how big are they?
I thought that they were.
Marisa.
Anyway.
I feel...
So I have my own little theory thrown in here about why I think vampires are seen like completely as like purely evil or like something that like came from the devil. If you're looking at vampires that come from a more traditional like form of like Vlad the Impaler, during his like reign, yeah, that thing is huge.
That's what I thought. That's the one I thought it was.
But during his like reign or whatever, it was like, I'm gonna get into it more, but a lot of it happened like right at the tail end and a little bit after the Crusades. And he was not on the side of the Christians. So I think that the vampires that come from that, and he did do awful things. I'm not discounting that. He did do awful things. But I think that when you're coming from a community that takes over the entire world,
yeah,
and you have this one view of this thing and this person, maybe it's not completely true, and maybe some of it's drama. because
surprised though?
there's some of it that has been proven to be like straight up not real. But also it's like the thing with them turning into bats and rats, like they're turning into animals that bring diseases and death, because at this time it was also like plague, and they didn't understand fully how diseases were spread because they just didn't know yet. And so you need like a supernatural creature to blame it on when you like don't have a real thing.
Why would we blame it on?
Yeah, something that you literally can't prove yet. Yeah,
I hate people.
Anyway, here's our other. We're getting into like the whole Vlad the Impaler like background. Okay.
Is it about to get gross? Do we need to give a turn?
In a little bit.
Okay.
In a little bit. So once again, the Crusades, they went from the year 1095 until 1492.
Okay.
If you don't know what the Crusades are, it was like a religious war. Yeah. A lot of stuff with like dividing Christianity and all of the branches, and they're trying to bring it to the rest of quote unquote to the rest of the world, and they're like killing people that don't believe in it. Yeah, all that fun stuff. Like I said, a lot of like the Vlad the Impaler stuff is happening right at the end of it and a little bit after. So also a lot of this stuff sounds really insane, but it was in medieval Europe. So, as I like to say, evil is in that word for a reason.
Right.
And it's not like they had like, I don't know, like Facebook and like the news and stuff. So like nobody really knew that this was happening, and people could get away with a lot more awful things than they could now. Like if somebody was just like off doing the things that he did, like everybody would know in like an hour, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it would be stopped. Like he would do it to one person and that would be it.
They'd be like, hey, cut it out.
Yeah. Medieval Europe is not somewhere that I would ever want to live.
Oh, me either. Especially as a woman?
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So that gives a little bit of an explanation as to why things are so like insane, because he wasn't the only one doing these things also. Maybe to this extent, yes. But there were plenty of other like people in charge that were just sticking people in like coffins full of nails, you know what I mean? And just shutting the door. You know, and putting them on like stretchers and stuff. They're outside.
That scared the shit out of me.
Olivia just like freaked out. My neighbors are outside in the driveway.
Keep it down. We're recording.
But yeah, so like all of the stretchers and that kind of stuff were, yeah.
Love it.
So, during when like the Crusades, it's about religious freedom, quote unquote. We're going to put that into quotes. A lot of this part that we're specifically going to focus on is when it's like right after Martin Luther, like not Martin Luther King.
Yeah, the one with who put the thing on the doors. The notes.
Yeah. He breaks off.
Hey guys, I'm educated.
He breaks off into his own like version of Christianity. If you've heard of Lutheranism, that's where that comes from.
That's what I am.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Was.
That's where it comes from. And obviously the Catholic Church, not a fan of this. Not a fan.
I just...
Yeah. So he started that, and then the rest of the world, because they're giant empires and stuff, they're going to go one way or the other. Mm-hmm. And everybody's fighting everyone. And that's your synopsis of the Crusades. Yes. So during like Vlad's time and his father's time, look, also, if you're looking this stuff up, most of these people have the exact same name. But they just have like 2, 3, and 4 afterwards.
If you don't know Roman numerals like Marisa and I.
Yeah. It gets very confusing very fast. And it took me a long time to like figure this out. So if there's something that I get mixed up with one of the other ones, just go along with it. Don't correct me. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So Vlad the Impaler, his father was before him, who is also named Vlad. And their last name is Dracula. So that's like a real thing. But Vlad the Impaler is his son. So the Impaler is the third, and his dad is the second. Okay.
Okay, and then his dad's dad
is the first. Yeah, the OG, if you will. But during the Impaler's portion, and I guess some of his dad's, because people didn't live for that long, the like 3, I don't know, teams for a better word, So we've got the Holy Roman Empire, which is most of like Western Europe. So like where Germany and France and like all of those modern day countries are. I'm not sure exactly which ones were there at that time. And then we have the Eastern Orthodox Church, which is like Eastern Europe. So this is where like Romania, Hungary, Constantinople, when that was still chilling. Yeah, that song. And then we have the Islamic people from Turkey and like the Ottoman Empire down south. Okay. So like Holy Roman up here, Romanian them right in the middle.
Okay.
The Islamic people down here.
Okay.
We know how this plays out time and time again. Nobody likes anybody. For what reason?
We
I don't
fight.
know. Yeah, fight.
Romania that's what happens when you put men in power.
Romania's right in the middle of these two. So both Vlad and his father really enjoyed playing every side of the team, just to kind of be on everyone's good side. Like sometimes he was on the Roman Empire side, sometimes he was on the Turkish side. Yeah. So he is from a town called Wallachia, which is just south of like where Transylvania is now. Romania still existed, all of that, still the same. I think that maybe Wallachia still exists. Call in if it doesn't, I'm sorry. And since this was like, it was like right up against where Turkey and Romania would have met. So like the Ottoman Empire, those people were coming in through the town all the time.
Love it.
So I feel like a lot of time was spent being more on their side than the other side. But look, the throne changed so many times where I was like, I can't even start writing this down.
You're like,
because like somebody would leave for like a week and then like somebody else's brother would be the king and then they'd have to fight it out. And it got real dramatic. Like I didn't know that that's how that worked, but apparently it is.
Where did they, what?
I don't know. Somebody, like you have to travel for like a week just to go like down the hill or whatever. and yeah, and then they come back up the hill the second half of the week and there'd be like a new king. And they're like, bro, that's not cool. And then they have to fight about it. Yeah. I don't know how that works, but it did. So
why wouldn't they just make other people travel? They have people.
Yeah, but they were like the military, like kings then were like literally the military leaders. Like the military didn't go nowhere without the king most of the time.
So they all hopped on their horses.
Yeah, and they're like dragging the cannons down the hill. P.S. like the castle that they live in, way, way, way up in the mountains. So like, which made it an advantage for them whenever like enemies came in because they would have to drag all their stuff up the hill. And by the time that they get up there, they're all tired and then they can just like kill them. So it works when you're inside of the castle.
Not when you're out.
Not when you're outside of it. And Vlad, he was very well educated for the time. Like, it said that like I laughed when I was looking at it because it was like he knew how to swim and ride a horse. And I was like, oh, okay. He spoke a few different languages, and this is because when he and one of his brothers were younger, his dad gave him away as like a bartering thing because that's how that worked. Gave him away to another like king temporarily. It got kind of sad. It said that his brother was like raped by like one of the men that were in the so sorry. But while they were there, like they're learning Arabic and all of these other languages, and they're learning how to read and write and all that stuff, which is like a big deal when it's 1430 something, you know? But yeah, they eventually come back. That was like the end of the deal. I don't know how the bartering system with children worked back then, but it was basically like, give me your kids or I'm going to like burn your whole town down. So he was like, okay, you can have 2 of my kids. I have like 10 others, you know? Birth control didn't exist. And, so Vlad, super like well-versed in all kinds of stuff. That comes in handy later when he's trying to like be on the side of everyone, because when you can speak all of the languages and you're like cool with everybody
so he's, like,
in power.
extremely intelligent.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah. And
right.
it like worked out for him. This is the part where I'm going to tell you a little fun fact. Dracula means son of the dragon. If you see things on certain websites, they're going to say that means son of the devil in Romanian. And you can Google translate that, and that's not true. I don't know who started that.
Christians.
But I will also say that Zach Bagans didn't help that. When they went to Transylvania and were going around the castle and ghost hunting and stuff and saying that he was talking to the vampire himself, which that episode is ridiculous. Don't listen to anything that Zach Bagans ever says. Half the stuff that he says, completely untrue. All of the podcasts that I listened to were like, do not watch that episode of Ghost Adventures because he just lies. But yeah. Zach Bagans tells everyone that it means son of the devil, which other websites do also say that, but it looked like he just looked at like the Wikipedia page and that's where all of his information was, and he didn't look any further than that. But the whole like Drac part of that name is Latin for dragon, or like... Also, they said that his father was a part of a group of knights called the Order of the Dragon, which Zach Bagans also said was like a cult, and it wasn't.
Zach Bagans.
It's not.
Friend of the podcast, Zach Bagans.
Friend of the podcast.
Zachary, can you come sit down and talk to us?
Can we stop spreading like false information, please?
Dude, what if we got him on the podcast?
I don't know. No. We would come for his neck too much, and then he'd probably sue us.
He can't sue us if we don't have money.
He can try, and then we can go to jail because we can't pay him. That's how that works, right?
We wouldn't make it in prison.
No, we wouldn't. Not even an hour.
No.
I would cry.
I would too. And then I'd be someone's bitch.
I mean, you gotta survive somehow.
You're right.
Yeah.
Gotta take one for the team.
Yeah, whatever the team is. Yeah. Yourself, you're the team.
It's like, never mind. That's probably offensive.
Probably. Just keep it in your head.
I was gonna say, is being in prison anyway like a big episode of Big Brother? Like how you have to make alliances and stuff?
Yeah. Probably.
And then you have to play all sides so you don't
True.
get beat up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, these like group of men were not a cult. They didn't do anything like culty, at least not recorded anyway. At least not. Okay. They just seemed to be like a group of military people, and that was like that.
And Zach Bacon said, "How do I make my show spicy?"
Which I'm sure that he got it from some website, because he's not the only person that said it, but he definitely like widespread that to like everyone who watches Ghost Adventures. So. Yeah. Also, Draco Malfoy. Draco comes from dragon. So, there you go.
Draco Malfoy.
Oh my god. And he's also like an evil character, so that's also interesting. I don't have any other thoughts on that, but Vlad the Impaler ruled from 1448 until 1477. This wasn't like one long, like almost 30-year, hangout. He got kicked out of the throne 3 times. I think 2 of those times were because he literally went on like a military campaign, and then like his brother was just like, I'm the king now. And because that's how that works. Once again, people did this all the time.
So like, was it like just brothers, or was it like some guy like showed up at the castle and said, hey, I'm the king?
It was like direct bloodline people. But also people, like men had 8,000 wives then.
Oh yeah. And
wives. Let's put that in loose quotes too.
They would behead you if you did not have a boy.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's your history class for today.
And I think that one of the times it was because he was like too much. They were like, no, you can't be the king anymore because you're doing too much. That was towards the end of his reign. So
they're like, hey, do you remember when he did this?
Mm-hmm. So I know that everyone's just wondering why he's called the Impaler. And here's your content warning, because this is where I'm going to start telling you, okay? So if you don't know, his favorite thing that he used to do is just get his enemies and just stick them out and use them like yard ornaments. Mm. Like, think of like a scarecrow, but it's a human body. If you were lucky, he would just take it right through the abdomen. And if you weren't, there were particularly fun accounts of them like taking the not sharp side and like lubing it up, putting it right up your butt. And they would just keep pushing it until it came out of your mouth. Sometimes that would take multiple days. So you didn't die immediately. Yeah, you were alive. You were alive with the other one too, but you die pretty fast. So so you probably wouldn't feel a whole lot, hopefully. But the other way, you were alive
I've never
for
been so
a very long time.
happy to have a short torso.
And and like they're not little, like, you know,
they're like girthy.
they're like probably a solid like foot wide.
So why did he do that? Just because he felt like it?
Yeah. I tried to, because I love a good psychology theory. I tried to find maybe if anyone had a theory on why he was like super sadistic. But I couldn't. Some people were like, maybe something happened to him that wasn't reported on while he was like in captivity, like with the other, I don't know, king while he was a child. But most of it happened to his brother. So I don't know if they made him watch and it like messed his brain. I have no idea.
I just feel like
there's literally no telling what they did to him.
I feel like a normal person.
Yeah. Maybe doesn't do that. But yeah. The cat decided that it's her time to shine. Okay, so along with his like scarecrow field out on the castle grounds, he had a special hallway dedicated to like political rivals inside of the castle, and and whenever he would call meetings with like the ones that were still alive, he would be like, hey, we should go down in this hall and like talk it out. And he would like make them have their little meeting in this hall of like the other rivals that are like dead and rotting. Like, they didn't ever take these things out either. They just sat there and rotted.
Can you imagine the smell of that castle?
No. Mm-mm. No.
I don't even want to picture it.
No. Yeah. And he didn't just do this to rich people, although he did start off doing it mostly to rich people and like military and political opponents, which a lot of the poorer people in Transylvania at the time really seemed to like him. It kind of depends on who you ask and what you read, whether or not he was seen as good or bad. But towards the end of his reign, kind of, he just started doing it to everyone because he was like really bloodthirsty, I guess. Couldn't control himself anymore. Oh. So
we love that.
One of my favorite stories ever that I know that you're gonna love. There were some Italian, I don't know if they were particularly monks or what their faith was, but they were from like a religious community. They were coming to meet with him.
Mm-hmm. Terrified, probably.
Diplomat stuff. And they had the little like hats on, you know, the little skull caps.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't take them off when they like met him and were greeting him, and he got mad about it because that's reasonable. And he was like, take your hats off. And they were like, we can't. Jesus said no. And he was like, oh, you don't want to take them off? And then he got his guard to bring him some nails, and they just nailed them things onto their heads. I don't know if they lived or not after that, but I'm going to guess no. Also, do you know how insanely strong you probably have to be to drive a nail through somebody's skull?
Especially back then. I bet they weren't like good nails.
No. Oh, and they have like all the tetanus on them.
Oh, all of it.
All of it.
Hey, James,
that's actually where tetanus originated. Oh my God. She's going to be like Bandit. She's climbing in the blinds. So yeah, another fun story. There was this guy minding his business in the village, and Vlad was strolling through, as he liked to do sometimes. He liked to dress up like a peasant and just like stroll through and see what everybody was up to, you know? Because that's what you do when you're rich and you're like, I don't have anything else to do. Let's be poor for the day.
That's like the YouTubers who are like, I tried living off $1 for a day.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut up. Yeah.
Sometimes I live off $2 for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So Vlad's out in the countryside. He sees this guy, and this guy's shirt is like kind of short. Like it's not properly hemmed or something. And Vlad's like, bro, why is your shirt so tiny? And he's like, oh, well, my wife just like doesn't really know how to sew, but she's doing her best, you know? And he's like, oh, actually, I'm the ruler here. Come up to my castle. And they're like, cool.
He's like, fuck.
And it's him and his wife. They go up to his castle, and then Vlad impales her in front of him. And he's like, anyway, here's a new wife. She can sew. And that's like the end of that story.
Vlad, why did you do this?
Uh-huh.
Come on.
So yeah, you kind of get the point of everything that he really liked to do. Some people also think that the whole like stabbing a vampire through the heart with a wooden stake is maybe that's where that came from.
I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah, it would. So he didn't like suck on people's necks, like normal vampires usually do, but it's said that he drank people's blood that he killed, and he probably ate a lot of them too.
Oh.
Just for fun. There was some other story about how he invited all of these like military people to the castle from like the other side, the other country or whatever. He invited them in. They're all like having a cool time. They're like drinking and just having a good party. And he's like, hey guys, be back in a minute. And he leaves. And then he sets the whole room on fire while they're still in it and burns them all alive. So that's one way of like taking care of that problem, I guess.
What did he do to his wives?
Yeah, they don't know. Good question. He had multiple. So
I was just wondering. I mean, if he did this to people he didn't know. Curious.
Yeah.
Vlad.
He really liked cutting off people's body parts, boiling them alive, making some people eat other people in front of him. Really messed up. His brain, not correct.
Something didn't.
Something went wrong. Not normal.
Something's
even
not
for
right.
the 1400s. That's bro. When the 1400s are like, you're doing a lot right now. Yeah, you're doing a lot.
Even like, I bet people were just scared of him to even like say anything.
Yeah, that's why he stayed in power like as long as he did.
Kind of smart.
And yeah, I know. So
that's why everyone's like, hey, no, nah, bro.
We're not a part of this.
We leave him alone. If he asks for something, we give it to you. If he asks for your daughter,
give it.
You better give it.
You're gonna be shish kebabbed.
If he asks for your best cow, better give it to him.
Yep.
I don't know what he's gonna do with it.
Don't ask.
You don't want to know, probably.
Just do it. Yep. So he was eventually like killed. There was this whole plot by another country to dethrone him, and basically they send in like a like a medieval spy who's like pretending to be a servant in the castle. And I guess because Vlad is just so rich, he doesn't even notice when a new servant comes in. And then that man decapitated him and brought his head back to the other.
Imagine how good he felt.
Yeah, I know. That was in 1477. And at that point, that was like his last little, he was only back on the throne for 2 months. And they were like, nah, you got to get out.
Hey.
Yeah.
Bro.
They think that his body is buried somewhere in Romania, like up under one of the big churches. Some people have also, like, conspiracy said that his body's in the Vatican for fun, for spice. Nobody's ever found his tomb, but they know he's buried somewhere, obviously.
He's still alive.
Yeah. That's also another one that I came across. They're like, oh, it's because he's actually a vampire and he's still alive. Think about it, guys. Come on. Big brain. Big brain.
It's the only one that makes sense.
Yeah. And, I got you a fun little stat. So he was thought to have murdered at least 80,000 people during the time that he was in power.
How old was he when he died?
He was born, it's kind of fuzzy when he was born. He was either born in 1428 or 1431. And it was probably 1431 from most of the things that I was reading. And he got decapitated in 1477.
So that makes him... Say that again. He got decapitated in
77.
77?
Mm-hmm.
Let's put him at the oldest, the first
The
three.
oldest, 1428.
So he was
49. That's pretty old for 1400s.
And he killed...
80,000 people.
That is 1,632 people a day from when he was an infant. Cool. Yeah. Hey guys, I also didn't do that math in my head. I'm not that smart.
That's okay. I'm not either. Who even knows if it's right?
1,625. And that's like saying he started killing as soon as he exited out of his mom's vagina.
And it could have been more, it could have been less. Because like I said earlier, people were like really scared of him. Also, the Christians wanted everybody to think that he was awful. And yes, if all of this is true, and like I'm sure that the people on the sticks was true, like I don't think that anybody would just like come up with that. In 1400s, come on, your imagination, not that good. Not that good. But there were definitely some websites that were like, yeah, they probably like dramatized some of this because some of it seems physically impossible. But we don't know. We'll never know until we die. And then maybe we'll get to know the secrets of the earth. That's when you gain
all the knowledge.
Mm-hmm. I hope so. So,
me too.
Anyway, vampires today, you can see them on cereal, like Count Chocula. You can see them on the TV. You can see them in movies, in books, everywhere. So, back to Bram Stoker's version. They said that he did a lot of his research for Dracula, like based off of real Romanian lore. Some things were like, maybe he did know the history of Vlad, maybe he didn't. He definitely knew that there was something going on in all of the Romanian traditions about vampires because a lot of his stuff is like pretty based on the mythology. The very first books about Vlad the Impaler were made in Germany in the 1500s, and because of like the printing press being like decently new, the stories became one of the first best-selling books ever to exist.
Oh, really?
That's cool. And then in 2008, Stephanie Meyer brought us Twilight, and that is the year that it outsold the Bible. So
I love that.
Shout out to 2008. She outsold the Bible. It's Edward Cullens and his magic.
His sparkling body.
A lot of her stuff, well, actually her stuff is more real than like what's in True Blood in the Vampire Diaries, going like off of traditional like literature and things that are...
She did her research.
Yeah, the whole like them not having fangs and stuff like that, that's not really a traditional thing. Also, traditionally, vampires don't die in the sunlight. They're just not as strong, but they don't die. She has a lot of like the mind control and like superpower aspects of it. Vampires can also be seen in a lot of like goth fashion kind of influence. Also, Morticia Addams, Elvira, Queens. Morticia Addams is not a vampire, but it said that a lot of her character design was based on like what you traditionally.
I love Morticia.
Me too. I would die for her. Also, because we talked about this earlier, you can tour Dracula's castle, or what they think now is. It's called Bran's Castle, or maybe it's Bronze. I'm not sure. It's Brans, like Raisin Bran. Some of the tours were starting at $10. Some of them were upwards of $30. Also, it said that most of this museum is dedicated to Queen Marie of Romania. I don't know anything about her, so sorry, girl.
Who are you? Colin.
Queen of Romania. So she had to have been decently important, and she had to have lived there at some point, I guess. But a lot of tours will also give you like a full vampire Dracula experience if that's what you're looking for. You just have to find the right tour. And it said that they were closed right now, but I saw some articles saying that they do like fun stuff for Halloween and that kind of thing. So that's pretty cool.
So is it haunted? Like when Zach went, I know he made up a lot of lies.
Yes. Like, when he went, they were like, oh my God, we're talking to Dracula himself. There was some lady that was with them too, and she seemed like very moved. She did say that she was a descendant of Vlad the Impaler. That's why I'm like, I can't tell if people in Romania think that he's really good and he's done a lot of things, because I will say he defended them and kept all of the enemies away from them for a very long time, which props to you for that, but maybe we don't have to go about it in the way that you did.
He said there's
maybe
only
we
one
don't
way to do this.
I also don't know what it's like to live in medieval Europe, and you could get away with a lot more, so I don't really know how people felt about that. I feel like you would still be scared though. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it kind of depends on who you ask. That lady seemed to be very much in favor of him, which I kind of feel like, hey, maybe we don't support somebody that sticks through other people. That's just me though. That's just me.
Hey,
maybe we don't.
Well,
yeah. I still want a vampire boyfriend, and I think I'll always want one.
Me too.
No matter what. They can do no wrong.
Mm-mm. Do they gaslight you? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Edward's
used to
super
it.
toxic.
And I used to be gaslit. Yeah.
Real men do that. I'd rather want one that can be like supernatural.
They said, oh, I upset you. It's your fault because you have small woman brain.
And then vampires be like, oh, I upset you? Yeah, I already knew that because I can read your mind and I read it every day. Like all day. And I take advantage of you because I know that I can.
And you're just drawn to me.
Yeah. And if you're Edward Cullen, he gets really triggered by the fact that he likes humans.
So, no Tinder message yet. We'll get
That's
more.
okay. We need a break.
We had the fiasco in the beginning, so that's the Tinder message.
You got your tea.
Also, scary, the spookiest part about this episode I'm about to say. The next episode we post, we will know who our next president is.
Ew. I hate that you just said that.
Yeah, I just started to think about it. And
we almost were not political.
And
for our fun Halloween episode, you're bringing bad vibes.
I know. It will be Biden.
It will be Biden. We're manifesting it. Everyone manifest with us. Use your Halloween powers. Biden. We'll light a candle for him tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Like, it just hit me.
I was just thinking about it.
just thinking about it. If, like, you don't think about politics enough or ever, you're privileged and you can't change your mind.
Yeah. Sorry. We saved it until the end, though.
Yeah. Are you guys still listening? This is our longest episode ever.
Ooh, if you're still listening, go to our, whatever is our most recent post when you're listening, and we want you to comment the secret word.
What's our secret word?
It has to be something random. Eyebrow.
Yes. If you're still listening,
people are going to start commenting eyebrow on our thing, and we're going to be like, what? Who are these people?
Because sometimes Marissa and I will, like, listen back, and we'll be like, hey, do you recall saying this this statement out loud?
Yeah.
You're like, no.
No, not at all.
No.
That's your secret word. And
eyebrow.
If you're a real one, go comment it on whatever is our most, even if you're listening to this like 2 years from now, go do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's so funny, like, Marissa and I have been doing this for, like, not a long time, but, like, we did not think we would still be doing it.
This was a manic purchase.
It's not like we were, like, we're, like, you know, my favorite murder and have been doing it for, like, 6 years now. I don't think, have they been doing it that long? I think that's a stretch.
Probably. I don't know.
But, like, I remember when we first started talking about it and, like, recording it, we were like, oh, my God, we're going to have a Halloween episode.
Yeah, that's crazy, and now we're here. And we're doing pretty good. Like, not to, like, brag or whatever, we're doing pretty good.
So well.
Way better than we thought that we were.
Like,
so thank you.
I know this is going to take off. I have one of those feelings about it. Like, one of those
We're manifesting
feelings.
it.
You know how, like, you witchy girls out there and guys, you know how when you get one of those feelings. And theys.
The girls, the gays, the theys. Next.
Yes. But it's just one of those feelings. And we've recently got a lot more listeners, and we just appreciate you guys for taking your time and listening to this chaos that we are.
Yeah, if you can keep up with us, you're a real one.
It's so weird to think that there's people that we don't know, right?
That all over the world.
Yes,
listen to us on a regular basis.
Listen to us talk to each other.
Yeah,
and they're like, "This is good.
Yeah,
this is
that's
good
crazy.
Stuff right here.
That's crazy."
And they're like, "They're funny." What?
Thank
Someone
you.
from Germany thinks I'm funny? Like,
I know.
What?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, that just, like, inflates my ego, for starters.
Yeah.
Huge.
And then when we tell people and they're like, oh, like it, like people like it? And we're like,
yeah,
we don't know why, but yeah.
Like, it's so weird because, like, Marissa and I would get, like, excited when we would get, like, 4 views when we would post.
Because we only know 2 people. So that means 2 other people that we don't know listen.
And we're like, someone else listened. Oh, my God, who are these people listening? And then, like, our other one, like, got, like, 30 views in, like, the first day. And, like, that's big for us.
And
like,
now we're, like, over 600 plays. Not to brag, guys.
What?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's just weird. It's just weird. It's just, like, you know.
Yeah, I can't think about it too much or I have an existential crisis.
It's like, how do I inflate my ego? And it's like, we're going to keep doing this because, like, regardless of how much people listen, Marissa and I, like, enjoy doing this.
And we just like to talk.
This is something we like, honestly, like, we both have pretty busy lives.
And I do this every week for you.
But, like, it's like a stress reliever for me.
Yeah.
It's like a break from my real world.
Guys, I forgot that I watched someone die this morning while we were sitting here, so...
But
I can't tell you any more details about that, so that's super cryptic. But yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But, you know, follow us on the socials, Creep Cafe Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Email us, creepcafepodcast@gmail. I don't know. Send us something.
Yeah, if you
fun.
have any spooky Halloween stories, like,
you know.
first of all, I need to mom you guys for a second. If you're going to a Halloween party with more than, like, I don't know, 5 people, stop.
Yes.
Unless everyone's wearing a mask the whole time. And I know y'all aren't.
I know.
So don't even lie to me. Don't lie to your mom right now.
Yeah.
Please be careful.
Hey, you know what? If you celebrate this Halloween, you might not celebrate the next.
Because, I mean, you might die, which is true. You might kill your grandma. That's what I'm more concerned about.
Like, I just like, this is we're getting political. I just like, I'm sorry, but the whole mask wearing, non-mask wearing is political, and you can't change my mind.
Yeah, I think Trump made it political for some reason. I don't know why, but he did.
If you can't wear, Marisa and I both have to wear a mask all day.
At work.
All day while we're at work. And I get tired of these little white women coming in and complaining to me about having to wear a mask.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're in here for maybe 15 minutes. I'll give you the most I'm going to say is like an hour.
Exactly.
And I wear it for
Stay
6 to 8 hours.
Stay home, maybe?
Yeah.
If you don't like it?
Maybe.
It's almost like if you don't like it, you should stay home. Almost like you tell us to leave the country if we don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then you don't like immigrants if they're leaving their country because they don't like it there. You know, a lot of double standards. We don't have time for that. We're at the end. But
anyways. Anyway. Hey, also, please rate and review us. Please. Yeah. That helps so much. I don't know how, but that's what all other podcasters say.
I think it does help, though.
I think it like pushes you up.
Yeah, we see like a surge in things whenever people rate and review.
Like, rate us 5 stars.
Tell your friends and your family.
Sit down at a family gathering, Thanksgiving.
And play it out loud.
Thanksgiving
in particular.
Thanksgiving.
We'll make a Thanksgiving episode just to make your relatives disown you, where we just say crazy political things the entire time.
But
yeah, we'll either be super depressed next time or super excited. And if we're depressed, the whole like hour is just going to be us crying. Our other episodes are an hour. This one's almost 2 because we love you guys and we're giving you lots of
special spooky Halloween.
Yeah. Special spooky Halloween.
I can't wait to listen back to this one.
I know. This one's going to be good.
I remember, if you made it this far, comment
eyebrows. Yeah.
All right.
I think that's the end.
Stay spooky, you guys.
And be safe.
Happy Halloween.
Bye.
Bye.